elimination. I have two examples, then we're going to stop. So first example, you are doing the same thing. You're solving for x and you're solving for y in a system of equations. We're going to use a method, like I said, a method that I much prefer over substitution. So if you have 3x plus 2y equals 4, and 5x minus 2y is equal to 8, elimination is exactly what it says it is. You need to try to eliminate a variable. So, and you do that by adding the equations together. So right now, if I added these equations together, what variable would be eliminated?
Two y.
The y's would go bye-bye. So those y's would cancel right out. 2y and a negative 2y are going to cancel out. Now be careful, because some of you will jump into this later and see a 2y here and a 2y here and say, oh, they cancel out. They only cancel out if one of them is positive and one of them is negative, okay? So we have 3 x's and we have 5 x's. That gives you a total of 8 x's. So we have 8 x's. The y's are bye-bye. Equals 4 and 8 together give us 12. Solve for x.
It's gonna be a decimal.
See, it's not bad, is it? No, well, you know what? You can use a decimal if they're not horrible. What is 12 divided by 8 as a decimal?
1.5.
1.5. That's not horrible. Use it, okay? And if you can end up with crazy, ongoing, irrational decimals, please leave them as a fraction. All right, so we have 1.5. Now the trickiest part about this is going back and figuring out what y is. So we need to go back to either of the original two equations, plug in this value of x, and get your y. So what I'm going to do, why am I going to go to the top equation?
Because it's positive.
Everything in the top equation is positive. Sometimes you don't have a choice but to use negatives and weird things, but in this case, everything's fine. So we have 3 times x. What is x?
1.5.
1.5. So we have 3 times 1.5 plus 2y is equal to 4. Solve for y. So 3 times 1.5 is 4.5 plus 2y is equal to 4. You subtract 4.5 from each side. So 2y is equal to 4 minus 4.5 is negative 0.5. You divide by 2. So y is equal to negative 0.5 divided by 2, which is negative
2.5.
2.25. All right, so we have our x and our y. You've got to write them as an ordered pair again. So we have 1.5, comma, negative 2.5. And that just means that if you graphed both of these lines, they would touch each other at an x value of 1.5 and a y value of negative 0.25. Yes?
You said negative 2.5.
Negative 0.25. Listen to what I mean, not what I say. Okay.
I was just letting the people know that can't see you.
Negative 0.25. I probably did say negative 2.5. That's not what I meant. So
Is that
sorry,
right?
everyone listening from home. All right, let's try another example. One that's a little bit more difficult than this one. Can I flip screens?
Yeah. I'm just playing. Go ahead. Jeez. I like this stuff.
Can we try?
2x minus 3y is equal to 3, and x plus 2y is equal to 5. All right. Is there anything that I can get rid of right now?
What about 2 y's? No.
If I add together the x's, will they disappear?
No.
Nope.
If I add together the y's, will they disappear?
No.
Yeah, they won't. So we need to do something to one of the equations, sometimes both of them, so that when you did add them together, they would cancel out. So my suggestion would be to look at the second equation, put parentheses around it, multiply it by a negative 2. If I multiply the second equation by negative 2, what is going to happen to that x? It's going to be a negative 2x.
we do that legally?
which will cancel out then with the first equation. Now, is multiplying by -2 legal?
Yeah.
As long as you do it to everything in the equation. Now, if you only do it to the left side, then that's not equal. That's not legal. You need to, it's not equal.
Evil!
You need to multiply everything by -2. So, bottom equation, -2 times x is -2x. -2 times 2y is -4y. And -2 times 5 is -10. I am now going to, and I highly encourage you guys to do this, though I know you're going to complain when I tell you to do it. I encourage you to take this top equation out and rewrite it underneath this. And the reason I'm telling you to do that is because later, when they get a little bit more complex, you're going to be happy that you did that. 2x minus 3y is equal to 3. Now, I did not multiply out anything in the first equation. I left it as is. Add them together now. These x's cancel out. What is -4y added to a -3y? -7y is equal to, what is -10 plus 3? -7. So what is y?
1.
Y is 1. Now you gotta go and figure out what x is. Do you guys feel okay about this?
Yes.
Alright, we gotta figure out what x is. Well, x plus 2y equals 5. I would probably go back to the second of the original system. So you have x plus 2 times the y value, which is 1, is equal to 5. So we have x plus 2 equals 5. We subtract 2 from both the left and the right. So x is equal to 3.
And then you make an order out of that, right? Yeah.
So your solution is, you have 1. Alright,
Make the one.
what'd you say?
Why make the one big?